Welcome back, everyone, to our third episode of Behind the Steering Wheel with Ely and Victor.
That's me.
Two friends? Are we friends? What are we?
I would say we're...
I guess we're related. What do you call your in-law's spouse? Are they still your in-law? You're not really my brother-in-law?
I know, but it's the closest thing. And we're like brothers.
Yeah.
We're legally...
I'll call you my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
That works. You're my sister-in-law's husband.
Yeah.
So for the record, two in-laws. Once removed. Chatting about
cousins-in-law.
Whatever pops into their head. No, cousins-in-law is a real term.
All right, husband-in-law. Jesus Christ. What?
Husband-in-law. I like that.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds really weird.
Yeah. Oh, so we're legally married.
No, wait. No. Doesn't work. Husband-in-law sounds like you're married by you're the husband of my wife, right?
Oh God, that's something
the
else.
That's
the C word.
In a polygamous marriage,
it depends what your role in that would be.
I guess that would be second husband or something, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like sister, brother husband. That's the term. Sister wives, brother husbands.
Bros before wives.
Oh,
okay.
No, we're not that close.
No.
We're a couple steps removed.
We live together. We spend our we're
You're my wife's
family.
sister's husband.
Yeah, we're all close.
Whatever that is.
I take care of your kids. We're basically family, but not.
For money. Just take care of my kids for money.
Well, for favors. No, let's not call it that. Oh God. We're friends. We're good friends. Oh, that sounds worse.
This whole conversation has gone downhill. I blame you.
How about we're bros?
Bros.
Yeah.
Bros. What's up, bro?
Bro. Yeah. They look like your arm because you wear the same thing.
We have got to stop wearing the same clothes. That is just weird.
For all they know, this could be a really good ventriloquist act on your part.
God, I wish I had that skill.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
You could mess with ventriloquists. How funny would that be? Everyone else would just think it's part of the act, and they'd be like, "Who the hell's doing that?"
Wait, I'm missing your point.
Like if you had a ventriloquist power, you could mess with actual ventriloquists doing their act, and they couldn't do anything to stop you because everyone else would just believe it was part of the act.
Oh, you mean a ventriloquist sabotaging a ventriloquist?
Yeah, like if you start throwing your voice at them, essentially.
Don't you have to be within range, though? Like, isn't that the whole trick? Is you're kind of...
Well, that's why this is a superpower, because you're throwing it across the room. Unless you can modulate it so it sounds
that's weird. Because that's like a question and answer no one ever thinks about in terms of superpowers.
Oh yeah, what cool superpower would you get? It's like, I want time. I want to fly. I want all the powers. You unimaginative Burke. I want the power to get all powers. Like, piss off. What would you have? One superpower. Let's keep it fair.
I really like invisibility.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. Even though it's a bit of like a naughty one.
I mean, it's what you do with it, right?
Yeah, but it reminds me of that philosophical question, which I really loved when I took Philosophy 101.
What would you do if no one's watching?
Well, the question is human nature good or evil?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the thought experiments is imagine if you found a ring of invisibility. What would you do with it?
Toss it in Mount Doom.
That is the only correct answer. And so then, and everyone's like, well, actually, yeah. But, and it's kind of this idea, like, if people could do anything without consequences, they would do bad things, right? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, if I had a ring of invisibility, I'd rob a bank.
I think a lot of that is because of repression. It's like, there's a big curiosity aspect. I've been told not to do this my whole life. Now I can. Why shouldn't I?
No, I think that, people are selfish and want to take what they want, right?
Yeah.
And the idea that goodness is its own reward isn't something that people have really tested or believe inherently at the point. It goes back to our point about human nature, right? Maybe it can be good, but it's definitely not good right now, right?
Yeah.
Like it's...
For most people, or I want to say most people, the motivation is, I shouldn't do that. I don't believe it's right. For many people, it's, why shouldn't I do that? What's stopping me? Usually that's the law, someone bigger than them, a wall or whatever, but if there was a person on the ground, no one around, and they had an ID in there and a lot of money, you're left with multiple choices. Do you return the money? Do you keep the money but return anyway? Do you just take the money and run? There's like...
It all depends on how much money. Do you take a cut and just say, hopefully he doesn't remember how much he had in there?
Or do you do the passive aggressive kind of thing where you return it and hope they give you money as a reward?
Oh, I couldn't see
That's sorry. That's the. Is that too simpish though?
Simpish. That's not.
You're giving money and hoping for a reward from a woman.
That's not simp. That I wouldn't use that example to describe simpism.
It's
simpism.
Oh God, it sounds like a culture now.
I mean, it kind of is with OnlyFans and crap.
Yeah.
Sometimes you should see this. I follow like libertarian Twitter, and some of the women on there like will post like some of the messages they get from guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's always the same pattern. Like guys are just like come out super forward and then like asking basically
that
for
is
nudes.
a big problem as well.
And then if you don't give it, then they get really angry.
It's like, oh, why are you leading me on, Rich? I don't even want it. Yeah. It's
well, no, but yeah, it just turns into name calling. But it's just really weird for me.
There's rotten eggs in both genders. It's hard to.
Absolutely. I'm not saying.
That's
I'm saying
what they see because they're the only ones who reach out to them a lot of the time.
But what I'm saying is that when men are bad, it's a certain way. When women are bad, it's a different way, right? And so the generalizations are kind of not mostly, but to a certain extent true.
It's always an aspect. It's always.
Yeah. But the philosophy question about the invisible ring was really fascinating because I was like,
Sorry, just remind me before we go on. Just saw someone online. It was like, oh, happy International Men's Day or whatever. That just, and then it's like, oh my God, you have no idea how many angry women there are in the comments right now talking about their fathers. Why do they all have OnlyFans? Anyway, sorry, carry on.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Anyway, you were saying.
Sorry, I have to digest that first. So I was thinking about it a lot because I was like, well, so one thing I thought about was, well, what good can you do with an invisible ring? Because I realized the question is actually...
You could fight crime.
Maybe, but the question is biased towards doing evil things. That was kind of my conclusion because...
and usually you need to hide bad things.
Exactly. By its nature, bad things want to be hidden. So Ring of Invisibility is bad by its very nature, not the nature of the person that is using it, right? Because bad things are the things you want to hide.
What if you... I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, it's heavily in favor of one thing doesn't necessarily mean it's...
No, well, and that's...
Question, you mean just the question, yeah.
Yeah, but the question... So I was just like, the question's a little bit misleading because it's asking what would you do if you had the power to do bad things in a way.
It's an assumption, yeah.
So, and I think it's kind of fascinating when we talk about Lord of the Rings, is that's why the Ring of Power turned people invisible. Because that is an evil thing to kind of do, right?
Gave them free reign to just be themselves, I guess, but...
Well, no, that's my point. It's not themselves. Turning invisible is...
freeing them from responsibility, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of opening the part of them that is evil, right? The part of him that doesn't want to be found or seen, right? That's kind of... But then you're right. I think there is a lot of good you can do with the Ring of Invisibility, but only if there's evil to... It's like a way to combat evil, right?
Yeah.
But then that's the temptation of the ring in Lord of the Rings, is that, I can use this power for good, right?
But that's just... it's almost arrogant. It's like, I could use it where everyone else has failed.
Well, you might assume you don't know who's used it in the past. It's just that, it's powerful, and power can be used for good, right? And I actually, and that's the funny thing, is I think that could be true, right?
It is true. It's one step.
If the ring only turned you invisible and didn't have the aspect of actually corrupting your mind and soul,
yeah, that's a bit of a
like that's the difference, right? Then maybe it could be.
If it was just a temptation, like a bit of a trade-off, like you just had to find it a bit harder to ignore rage, for example, like that's still on you. If it legitimately actually drags your soul down into hell, well, that's just inevitable.
Yeah, I think like you said, there are good things you can do if you can be invisible. Which is why I like the superpower, because I think there are good things you can do.
Yeah.
If you're talking about fighting evil, I think some of the most evil stuff you almost need to be invisible to fight.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you're opening up.
They'll come after you and your family and everything else, right?
They wouldn't fight fair.
Yeah.
So why should you? But that in a way, not like you have to fight dirty, but it does even the playing field a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes you anonymous, like the internet.
But the ventriloquist one might be good too. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of applications of it.
You go to a mob deal and then get them fighting each other, and then they both gun each other down. And it's like without lifting a finger. It's like
yeah, exactly.
Everyone wins. I mean, you technically committed murder.
Really mess with people. Best would be invisibility and ventriloquism.
Oh, the prank potential.
Oh, you could just ruin the the underground crime scene, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Or you could like go into any political meeting, any.
I mean, you could just like, you could make people hear their like spouses at their rival's house and stuff.
Or anytime you can see someone's about to make a bad decision, you just like, what would your mother think? It's like, Mom, is that you? Or it's like, this is the voice of God.
Yeah.
You probably just drive them into. That's the sad thing about like religion these days, or the state of the world, is that people would probably sooner think that they were insane than God was actually talking to them.
Depends on the person. It depends if they're religious or not, right?
Yeah.
A religious person would believe that a voice they hear is divine, right?
I like to think, or I hope, that if you're talking about your mobsters and evil people, you're not really dealing with religious people that aren't maybe Satanists or something. Well,
the mob's quite Catholic.
Yeah, but I feel like certain things that they do aren't particularly God-centered.
Does the mob still exist, like the traditional Italian Catholic mob?
Yeah.
Or is it?
I've heard it from certain Italian people we both know that he's like, yeah, we all know it, we just kind of accept it. It's like the cartels in Mexico. Most people just like just stay out their way, and hopefully they won't kill you.
Because I think most crime is kind of shifted towards gangs and stuff, right? Rather than
gambling, it's far more efficient, I would say.
Well, so that's what my dad always said. Like, eventually the mob just becomes legitimate because
then they
it's
form
better
a
business.
Yeah.
Well, they form a union.
Yeah. We get dental. I keep getting my teeth smashed in. I need dental.
Jeez, that's terrible. But I mean, if the goal is making money, like, running a business and it is better, and then you don't have to worry about getting arrested and having to do everything under the table. Like, it almost becomes more efficient to do it, to do the paperwork. And that's why it's so important to keep paperwork to a minimum.
Or you end up with murderous crime.
It's a bit of a logic leap there, but,
I mean,
I'll accept it.
Bureaucracy leads to murder.
Oh, geez, that's believable.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, there's people going postal as well. Like, that's just stress. You can get stressed in any job.
Yeah.
I wonder how stressful being in the mob is. Is it more or less stressful knowing that you have people on your side, but
I'd say it's more stressful.
Yeah.
I'd say the risk of constant death is more stressful than just getting fired.
Like, on the one side, you're kind of protected from the regular legalities to a certain extent. But
I don't know.
It's a different kind of stress.
No, I'd say gang and mobs, that's stressful.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a way to measure stress comparatively, I'd say. Because, like, you make a mistake, you die.
Yeah.
As opposed to get fired and have to go find a new job. I mean,
kill yourself. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just slower.
I don't know. It just seems...
It's just a different kind.
Like, for example, being in debt is stressful, right?
Yeah.
But if me not being able to pay a bill meant like someone would come to my house and beat the crap out of me.
It does in some countries.
That'd be a lot scarier, right? Like, it'd be 10 times more stressful.
Yeah.
Because, I've been in a lot of debt, and it's stressful sometimes.
What if you're in the debt to the mob and you're in the mob? Then you know what they're going to do to you.
Well, I mean, it's no different then. You're still going to get killed or beat up, right? It's still...
I would wager that, for example, knowing that a loved one has a degenerative disease, for example, is worse if you're a doctor, because you also almost feel powerless and you know what's going to happen.
I don't know. I don't think the knowledge makes... I don't know. I mean, maybe. I have no frame of reference for that, so I don't know how to say it. But I kind of feel like what false hope isn't great either, right? Like,
No.
so
I guess it's the uncertainty versus the certainty of knowing it's going to be bad. They're both different ways of
but
suffering.
I think when you go in, the doctors do their best to let you know it's going to be bad, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just more frustrating because you don't know how bad, or you don't know, like, you have questions, or you have, like, you keep researching all the newest, medicines. And I mean, I know, like, Yoshi, my sister, for example, was looking at where Alzheimer cures were at, and causes and potential ways to prevent it and stuff, right? It's just kind of a natural thing when someone you love is sick. You're kind of wondering.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know if being a doctor would make that any easier or worse, right?
Yeah.
I just think it's always a difficult situation. Everyone deals with it differently, right? So maybe a doctor would deal with it differently, but I don't know if it makes it more or less painful, essentially, right?
I'm trying to equate it to the only thing, again, I would have as a frame of reference is being a somewhat technical person. If I, for example, didn't know how to fix a computer or a TV, I wouldn't, it seems stressful. They every time I deal with someone, that they always seem like, oh God, like, what do I do? It seems, to me, it's like, it's simple. You can do that. But then if there's something I don't know what to do about it, like, it's above my pay grade, it's above my expertise. Yeah, I guess it's the same feeling, but I feel like I would have that, oh, if only I'd studied more, I could have done something.
I mean, I think all those kind of things are somewhat relative. Like, the amount of knowledge you have is kind of relative to the situation, right? So if you have a lot of knowledge about a situation, but the situation is just as dire, if you didn't have the knowledge about it, it's not going to matter as much.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess I'd rather be a soldier than a civilian in a war zone.
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think actually, so that probably makes it easier. Easier in the sense that at least you're armed with the knowledge and you can answer your own questions. And that you know what the best solutions are and the best chances are.
Yeah, knowing is always better than not knowing. Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, I knew it was going there.
The other half is violence.
What?
It's a battle.
It could be a mental battle. It could be like a chess game.
Yeah, mental violence.
Violence really shouldn't be thrown around so easily. But yes, in theory, battle means violence.
Have you seen Wizard Chess?
You mean like the video game chess version?
No, I mean the game Wizard Chess, where I guess they're both made up.
I mean, where the pieces are like eating each other.
Oh, I mean like in Harry Potter, like where the pieces just destroy each other when they take it.
Oh, so this was when I was like a kid.
Battle chess.
Battle chess. Yeah.
That still exists.
Yeah, of course it does. It's just better graphics now.
Yeah. New animations.
Yeah, but even when I was a kid on like the floppy disk games, they were we bought a battle chess game, and it was hilarious because each piece killed the other piece a different way.
Yeah, you wanted to get all
so
the combinations.
King killed the queen a certain way. The queen couldn't kill the king, so the king was never killed. Or no, I think they did act out the checkmate afterwards.
Just becomes a divorce settlement or something.
But they all killed each other differently. The king killing the queen was brutal. He he gave her a hug, and then I think stabbed her in the back or slit her throat or something. It was like, jeez.
Wow. Someone had to animate that.
The rooks were good too, because it was like they picked up pieces and ate them. They were like monster rooks. That's all I remember, I think.
We should play some of those animations over this video when we post it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just go look them up and like add them.
I'm sure
in the
they're public
background.
domain right now. It's been like 50 years.
Yeah, they should be. Get a GIF of it or something.
Yeah. Like and comment if you play battle chess. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Do what you like. I do want to play battle chess with you now, though.
we can just act it out like kids. Like,
oh no, it's the dragon! Oh, sneak attack! They could make Like a holographic board.
Gonna do a dull middle-aged version, like a divorce. Like instead of battle chess, it's like the game of life.
Oh God, yeah.
It's like the king eats the pawn. And it's like, I disown you, son. You brought shame to this family. Never come back.
Why is the queen left? Why are there two kings?
Stop it.
I'm so confused. Oh no! Oh, I can't say that. Never mind. I mean, I could. It's a free country. I choose not to say it.
Good man.
Oh, look at all those bins. I've never seen a bin carrier. Like, are they new or old? That's interesting.
That looks like it's the supplier for the bins, not a pickup thing.
Yeah, it'd be weird to just take all the bins away and then empty them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Very inefficient. Yeah.
There we go.
Like a random, really stupid, mundane thing that made me happy was like when I'm walking around your block, I saw like a big canvas bag. It's called a skip bag. It's like the size of a, I don't know, half a car.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously it's like a skip, but it's almost infinitely lighter than an actual skip. It doesn't destroy the driveway or anything like that. You can fit it in front of your garden. So you still throw away like small bits of furniture and garbage and stuff, but it
still requires a truck to come pick it up.
Yeah.
But no, they sell those at Woody's. You can.
But they can just drop it off. They don't need to have the big truck incoming twice.
No, so what you do is you buy it in the shop and you set it up, and then you call them and they come pick it up.
Yeah,
no, it's very efficient.
Way more efficient.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's much nicer.
I never considered that kind of thing. But it's nice to have something between nothing and a giant metal canister.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. But yeah, random. Just thought it was nice that we're making better progress in all aspects of life.
Well, we need a teleporting machine so we can throw our trash into the sun.
Yeah. I feel like we should just have a cannon that does it. You get a railgun that can do it pretty well. Because once it's in space, it doesn't matter. You just get the trajectory. It doesn't need any more propulsion. Once it's left the atmosphere, it's on its way.
Yeah, but then it could hit something.
Like what? Aliens?
An asteroid?
Well, if you... Okay.
A satellite?
Alright, then it's in space. It just collides and it vaporizes.
Yeah. I guess the thing I worry about is sending stuff on Earth to space is we're reducing actual... Because right now everything on Earth kind of is in an ecosystem. Even the trash and stuff is kind of in an ecosystem.
Yeah.
That eventually...
But most of it goes to the landfills anyway. That
yeah, but at least in reform. Well, we're not... At least it's kind of creating some land, and you know, 1,000,000 years in the future, we can remine it or something.
By that point, we'll just
maybe
bring stuff from other planets. But how like plants and stuff, like you need everything to grow, which is made from photosynthesis with the sun anyway. So the energy from the objects destroyed goes into making new stuff anyway, which we can bring back to Earth.
As long as we can refill lost matter from other planets, but that's a big assumption.
I mean, energy, like matter is never created or destroyed. It's just changes states. So it just changes
it goes
states
into the
to
sun,
fire.
it stays in the sun. I'm just saying at least.
Why would the sun radiates energy constantly?
Yes, I know, but what I'm saying is that it's gone. It's gone forever.
Gone where? The nether?
Well, it's not in the Earth.
Okay, well, we'll just make a solar system economy then. That's like saying anything that goes into the space station is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but the space station eventually crashes back down into Earth when it's done.
Or they recycle it. Or they take it somewhere else. They shift it, they carry it. They just put a rope around it and carry it all the way to Mars, for example.
Actually, you know, you're right. The space station might never come back to Earth. It might just stay up there infinitely, which is kind of what we want, is floating space stations that are self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Let's throw our trash in the sun. You sold me on it.
Yeah,
We'll replenish all the rocks and gold from asteroids.
I mean, there's a planet apparently out there.
We'll do some oil mining and asteroid 344421.
I'm hoping by the time we get that far, we won't need oil.
Yeah. Well, see, even if you blow up an atom, aren't you kind of removing the matter into energy, right?
Yeah.
Even atomic energy is doing a little bit of that anyway. So you might as well throw it into the sun.
That's another thing. Like, you can... apparently...
I think we need to do the reverse way.
Being able to reform atoms.
Yeah. But that would require the energy of the sun.
Yeah.
We could so I guess I don't know the formula. I mean, I know it's E equals MC squared, but I don't know how you calculate how much matter can the sun create, but I assume it's a lot.
Yeah, I think you'd be right.
Huh?
I think the sun creates... I
mean, if you took energy from the sun to create matter, right? That's what I mean. then like
Technically,
because it's
by going outside, you're
multiple
doing
orders of magnitude.
that's what plants are doing.
I know.
So if we can,
it's-
I think that would be easier. You just
well, the solar power as well,
yeah.
right?
So what we really need is a Dyson sphere, and then we can just
Around the sun,
you can okay. What about a Dyson belt?
Dyson belt around the sun.
Yeah.
But then,
Or Dyson grid.
but what do you? How are you transmitting that energy? I guess you're focusing it like a
Well,
laser beam on.
Yeah, wirelessly essentially. But yeah, we just you shoot the rubbish into the sun, shoot the electricity back.
It's the circle of life.
That's what Lion King was all about.
Rubbish recycling.
Yeah. All that the light touches is mine, except that shadowy place. That's the landfill. We don't like that.
I don't know. I think a Dyson sphere is a little too ambitious for any time in the next
Yeah, it might be like-
500,000 years.
I was gonna say like 30, but maybe 40. Yeah, maybe. Not with that attitude. Come on.
All right, 250,000 years.
There you go.
Meet you halfway.
Okay. One day. Plus, I'm sure. I like to think that because this is what we've come up with now.
Yeah.
1,000 years ago, they literally couldn't even conceive of the sun being a thing. It was like, oh, big ball of fire, I worship. Maybe not 1,000 years ago, but you see what I mean? Like, I like to think maybe some people had certain ideas, like Da Vinci, they had ideas ahead of their time. But the ideas we have now are far more advanced because we literally couldn't conceive of them before. Our
Yeah,
world wasn't
yeah.
big enough.
You're
So
right.
1,000 years from now, 10,000 years from now, the ideas will be that like exponentially bigger as well. Maybe
So I
by the
guess, because, you know, if we can get solar power to a point where it's like 10 times better than it is now,
yeah.
we might be able to create matter out of that type of energy. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And that might not be... And I guess that's kind of the expectation of all sci-fi films is there's plenty of energy. So energy's not a problem. It's clean, it's abundant, it's free. And then when you have that much energy, you can create stuff. You know, if you kind of can combine energy creation with kind of 3D printing kind of stuff, and then you can source materials.
Because technically everything absorbs energy to some level. It's just the efficiency it does it at, right? Like the ocean absorbs heat, and that, then the plants and like seaweed and stuff does the same thing. So you could have, say, some a solar panels in the ocean, as well as thermal generators. So you would get double the energy. They'd be warm and light, and they would be out of the way. They'd be in the ocean.
Well,
Theoretically. Or we start creating
yeah, I guess it
ocean
depends.
cities.
Yeah, it depends how well you can magnify the light, I think. Because I think at a certain point,
Or you then, because the ocean's prismatic, you could capture that, like surround it, say like a massive, let's say sphere underwater, lets the light in, but it doesn't let it out. It just kind of bounces out like mirrors, prismatic mirrors inside, so it almost amplifies the light and heat it's getting. It's like a Dyson sphere underwater. Again, making that happen, that's the stuff for sci-fi, but that's just a new idea. I don't think Jimmy McBob from 2,000 years ago of the Bob clan would have come up with that.
do you think there was a Bob clan?
I like to think so. I mean, there's Bob Cat. Someone clearly thought, oh, Bob was a great name for a cat at some point. I don't think he named it because it looked like a...
Yeah,
maybe,
that's more recent, right? Like,
maybe it was Bob in his head. He was like, it's a Bob Cat. I don't know. It was probably Robert Clan, son of Robert.
Okay, yeah, Robert is common enough. Would you consider working...
I would.
That would be close. That would give you a reason to move out.
That'd be great. I could probably take a bike there even. Anyway, this is behind the scenes stuff. We'll put this on the DVD extras.
Where Victor's gonna work after Amazon fires him for shutting down AWS.
This is
What's AWS stand for?
Amazon Web Services.
Oh, okay. So it is web services.
Yeah,
That's an old name.
It used to be Amazon websites, but it didn't really take. It's just that was the original intention, just like Amazon used to be a bookshop.
Yeah.
It's a bit more than that now, I think. I think they sell more than books.
Really? I only buy books on Amazon.
Yeah, they sell digital books now. That's
useful.
That's a big difference.
Well, books are going out of... They won't exist in 100 years.
I hope they do. Because
there'll be collector's items.
Yeah.
But no one's going to actually publish books.
I'm sure some religious nut job about 1,000 years ago probably thought like, oh, these will never last. This is paper. And then someone in ancient Egypt was like, papyrus. No one's going to think of this in a few years. Who knows? There is something cool and really nice about the tactile sense of a book. You get the slight musty
but they'll
smell of the
VR
pages.
that.
Ooh, are you talking about the Kindle VR?
Yes.
Oh, Kindle your senses.
Yes, where you think you're reading a book, but you're just you're just in a headset.
Strapped into the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. Anyone who puts on a VR headset, just harness their emotions or energy. Just power the system.
Yeah, I don't think emotions have a lot of energy in them.
Are you kidding? Emotions can fuel change. They can topple dynasties.
Stop talking metaphorically when we're talking.
There is an energy transfer there. It's just the efficiency of it. If there was no energy in the emotions, nothing would get done. You need energy to fuel your body, to move things. And emotion is the drive. If you don't feel like doing something, it's not going to happen. Especially
you're talking
your body has like, I have no energy.
Metaphorically about metaphysical phenomena.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there is definitely that aspect as well. But if you're like,
no, that's exactly what you're doing.
there's a mind over matter certain aspect to it. If you get to the point where like, oh my god, my body is broken, I cannot move, I'm worked out. But then you see someone getting injured or something like that, or you think of the right thing, like, oh, my wife needs me or something. Then that swell of emotion can give you that strength.
Yeah, because the emotion triggers the chemical responses that give you the energy, but the actual energy is physical.
So there has to be an energy change at all that isn't got from the intellect.
There has to be a physical energy burst.
Yeah.
And it can be triggered by emotional response, but the emotional response itself has no energy in it. In my opinion, who knows?
I mean, there's electricity through the synapses. That is at least a minute amount of energy. There are chemical reactions. Energy is produced by chemical reactions. There are synaptic pathways. Electricity is going through there. There is energy in the body. Energy transfers and the reactions are happening.
I wonder if you could measure that. How much energy you have when you start feeling something.
Sure, I could.
Like if you're measuring a person's total energy output and then give them really tragic news.
Yeah.
or
give them a coffee, see what happens.
Coffee's a physical thing. I'm talking about purely.
But it's an amplifier.
Yeah, but I'm talking about purely emotional news. And does the body output more energy?
Ooh, do it to a coma patient.
What?
Talk if they can No, that doesn't make. No, that makes sense. It might make sense, but that's a different effort. Give it to someone who is a quadriplegic, and then see the energy reactions going on inside them. Because then it's not like involuntary twitches. They can't actually move. There's no physical aspect to it. It's purely emotion for them. That would be the best way to it. A bit heartless, trying to tease them with stuff like that. Maybe give them good news. But
it would only work if there's a way people could just, if there's a phone app that measures people's energy, and then you could just measure it in aggregate and relate it to life events or something.
Like an emotional MRI machine, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't have to. So that's the thing. You don't need to track the emotion. You just need to track the total energy output.
If you want to track the output, you need to track the emotion.
No. So what I'm saying is you track the total output, and then you do something where it's obvious their emotions are changing.
But which one? What emotion? Anger, hate, joy? All of the above? What if they're like, oh, he's got like a 300% increase. What if he's feeling 3 different emotions and compared to one strong emotion? How would you know the difference if you're not tracking the emotions?
Yeah, eventually. But just as a starting point for the hypothesis, you can just track total
see if it's worth it.
Energy output. But I still feel like it's not generating new energy. I guess you'd have to track the total amount of energy in the body and see if it actually can go up. And I'd argue it can't.
I would argue, we do have electromagnetic fields. That has been proven. So there is an energy field to each person. And I'm sure that can wane and wax depending on...
We might as well talk about quantum physics. I'm just we're kind of wandering into territory that's all hypothetical, right?
No, it's been proven. We
Yes, but
And electromagnetic fields do dim and can be influenced by everything around us. So there is a field of energy, and that's not going to be constant. Human beings are just not constant in any way. So that has to fluctuate, which means energy can change, energy can rise and fall. And I'm sure that I would bet that emotions are one of those factors that can rise and fall. And emotions have to come from somewhere.
It'd be such a hard thing to measure. But
At this point, absolutely.
yeah,
It's purely
yes.
theoretical.
yeah.
But I would bet on it. And that's
I
even like
wouldn't.
that's even thinking like if we're part spiritual as well, how the emotions come from that spiritual energy transferring into the physical body, as an example. Is that how? Because I would say that, for example, when I feel particularly dead inside, I feel detached from my spirit self. I don't feel many emotions. I would be willing to say that the two are linked. That emotion is at least part spiritual. If the spirit is energy, that would make sense to me, anyway.
Yeah, potentially. I won't write it off. That's the best I'll give you.
Okay. Agree to.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel.
We're gonna write that down. So just like agree to. Yeah. With the little hand wiggle as well.
Yeah, exactly. Hand wiggle. You need the hand wiggle. That's how I feel about this discussion.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
I have no strong feelings.
I am the neutral party.
My energy's going down.
Can you measure it?
I just like.
You've seen Futurama, right? The whole neutral party. It's like everyone's gonna die, and the neutral party's like, tell my wife I said hello.
What?
It's just completely neutral.
Wow.
Like the station's about to blow up, and like, tell my wife I said hello. It's like, oh God, we're all gonna die. It's like, I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Wow. That reminds me of an ADD adventure, AD&D adventure where I had someone fight his sister because she had turned evil, and he had to kill her. Yeah. And then the
theological quandary afterwards.
it was like the gods of neutrality had her soul because she was like turning good as he was fighting her. And so they would give it to her if he did something for them, right? It was like a real emotional blackmail in a TNT episode. I was like...
This was like the finale, wasn't it?
No, this was just like halfway through. Yeah, because the whole point was he was on a mission to get something that, what's it called? The one item that saves the day.
The
right?
MacGuffin.
Yeah, the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin of destiny and legend.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just like, and it was like, give it to us, because we don't care which side wins.
Yeah.
And,
we are very much the spirits of death.
Well, the gods of neutrality. They're like, we want the side, whatever side wins is the side that should win. And we don't want this.
Oh, that's so blasé.
We don't want this tipping the balance. So we'll give you your sister back.
Well, they were going to keep it and lock it away.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Like just block anyone from using it, right?
Interesting.
And so we want it.
Just take it off the field.
Take it off the field, exactly. And like he was a good guy character, right? It's not like he was neutral, but it was more like,
Yeah, like how much I have this choice to not damn my sister to eternal purgatory, I guess.
To get her back and win her over, right?
Yeah, but like even if he chooses not to, he's had the choice. He's given up the choice to save her.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like.
And it was so funny. His reaction was like, "I hate you."
Out of character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Out of character right now. You suck. No, wait.
like,
my character rolls. You suck.
It's like strong emotions.
Yeah. Oh. What did he do in the end?
I don't remember. I think he was thinking about because he was part of
the actual decision didn't matter.
Well, we never like all D&D adventures. We never finished the stupid thing.
That's so sad, right?
Yeah. So it was like because what I wanted him to do was like betray the party, right? Because he's in a party. So it's like totally unexpected. Like he runs off with it. They're like, "What the hell?" Then they have to chase him and get it back, right?
That's really good because usually it's the evil one that does it for self-centered reasons.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Is like, I'm going to betray my friends for a really good reason. That's the saddest thing when two really good parties.
It's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
In my mind, but you know,
for
I'm the
him.
paladin of the party. There are no good reasons to break the law.
That's lawful good versus like neutral chaotic good, right?
Well, paladins are always lawful good.
Exactly.
That's why they're a pain in the ass
they're
to
always
ever
lawful.
play.
They're always lawful. There's new evil paladins or true neutral paladins.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if there's true neutral paladins. But
I don't buy lawful neutral.
they basically
Well, no, actually, I take that back. Lawful neutral would be the
would be lawyers.
no.
They have to be objective, right? We know they're actually chaotic evil, but no, they're lawful evil because they
Lawful
know
neutral is the Les Mis policeman. He's lawful neutral.
Oh, that's true. Obey the law and nothing else.
Yeah, the law is the only good.
Thing that matters,
Right?
Yeah. And it drove him insane.
It did.
Spoilers.
It did.
I was